Hi there, my name is Yewande, and today I want to talk about career transitions with the emphasis on quick steps to make a career transition to product management. This video is specially targeted at people who are currently doing a career transition and people who are transitioning to product management. I know there are a lot of people going into no-code careers, into product management, and I have a very quick blueprint that I think might help you in your journey. I did transition to product management about 5-6 years ago. I wrote a blog post about it. It was really popular. I got a lot of questions, and I've kind of compiled a lot of the questions to answer either on video or on my blog, and hopefully I get to do more of these videos. But today I'm going to start with like a very quick roadmap that would help in your career transition. The first step I would recommend first of all, if you're doing a career transition, well done, congratulations. This is a very brave step and I wish you the best. It's not an easy thing you're doing, but you're brave enough to take it on, so I believe you can do it. So the first thing you should do is you need to determine if the career path is right for you. A lot of people hear about product management and think it's or even other careers, and you see the good parts online. If you're on TikTok, you see a day in the life of XXX career working in XXX company. And then it's very romanticized. But if you actually want to do a career transition, you need to go beyond the surface. You need to do a lot of research about the career that you want to go into. You need to know things like, what do they do on a day-to-day basis? What's the company structure like? How do they get paid? What's the growth? How do they grow in there? What's the top peak of the field? How much do you get paid as a junior, as a senior? Before determining if it's the first step for you, my bad, that's the second step. Before you determine if it's the right career for you, you need to do a lot of research. Get as much information as you can get about that career path that you want to go into. After you get the information, then you need to decide if it's right for you. You need to look at where you are right now in life, your strengths, your weaknesses. If you want to be a product manager, for example, you're going to be in a lot of meetings. Are you a good communicator? Do you like talking to people, even if you're a good communicator? So you need to think about things like that. Does this career path fit into where you are in life right now? Do you have a child? Do you want to be in an intense career path, right? Is this something, can you do this maybe part-time or as a freelancer? These are things you need to look at to determine if the career path is right for you. And I'm sure there are many more qualifiers, but these are just examples. Now, the next step which you need to do is you need to look at the skills that successful people in the career path have. Right? So if you take product management as an example, who are the most successful and well-known product managers, and what skills do they have? You see a lot of them speak at events, a lot of them they write, because you're always writing documentation anyways. So you need to look at these skills, especially I say the top performing people. Sometimes the most popular people are not the top performing people, but you have to start with what you have, right? Which is the information you have. So start with the people you can find online. What skills do they have? What do they do? If you can talk to them one-on-one, ask them questions, read their books, read their interviews. All of these sources can give you the right information for the skills that they have and they currently use at the job. If you are also work in a company with product managers or with these people in the career path you want to, you need to look at the skills and ask for the skills they have, especially when you're doing the research. All right, so now when you've identified the skills the top people in this field have, you need to then audit your own skills. What skills do you already have and what skill gaps do you have? So are you already a good communicator? For example, maybe you work in sales and you always give presentations, so now you can communicate, but then you also need to have good listening skills. Do you currently have listening skills, or is this something you need to go learn and go hone to get into this path? Is this something you need to go learn? So these are the things you need to do: a skill audit. What skills do you have? What skills do you not have? And what can you realistically learn in what period of time? After your skill audit, then you need to fill the skill gap that you have. Of course, you can't fill all the gaps, right? Like there's no job that requires 100% of what they ask of in the job description for you. That's another thing. You need to look at the job description for the skills that they ask for in this field. So look at a product management job description. A lot of job descriptions, they'll ask, do you know SQL? Have you worked with a team before? These are things that they put in job description. So that's another source of finding the skills, because sometimes you don't have access to the top people in the field, or even to other people in the field, depending on what part of the world you're at or what stage in your career you're at. You might not have access to people, but online you can find information, you can find articles, and then you can find the job descriptions of a typical product management role. You can just go to the Google website, for example, right, and then look for a product management vacancy and see what skills do they require on there. That's a good place to start from. Google vacancies or Google careers is what I mean. All right, so then you need to take courses to fill the skill gap. You can do online courses. I always recommend when you're a newbie in the field, start with free courses, because there are lots of free courses online, right? Start with free courses to just get a feel of it. You don't want to get sucked into it. When you now find that this is something you want to do, then I recommend that you invest in it. I say this because not a lot of people can afford to invest in the right courses, and some courses are a hit or a miss, and you don't want to invest in a course when you are not 100% sure you can complete it, you actually like the field. So many factors. So I recommend that you start with free courses, start with YouTube videos like this, and even more, there's so many YouTube videos on the University of YouTube is real. Start with online courses, free online courses, and use it for the skills that you currently have a gap in. So for example, if you've never worked with SQL before, you can go to W3 schools to look at the course material they have on SQL on there. So yeah, that's filling the skill gap. Then the next thing you need to do, you need to start to practice. This is where a lot of people get stuck, because they want to practice with actual job experiences. I would say start from where you are. You don't have to practice in an organization if you're not working in an organization yet. You've learned listening skills. How can you practice it in your current job, right? In your current skill or in your current school? If you're a student, can you organize like group projects that are not even related to product management, but help you hone the skills that you have just learned, right? For example, if you've learned SQL or you've learned Python, you can find like problems online, right, on Stack Overflow, and start to solve them by yourself. If you don't have access to a corporation, an organization where you can practice your skills, start from where you are. Just practice with what you have. Even if you have a business or you have a trade that you're doing, you can learn so many skills on there. You can apply data analysis to your business. You can apply a lot of the things that you learn to your business. So I will say start where you have, but practice so that you can properly hone the skills that you have learned from the courses. Then while you're practicing, I really recommend that you document your work. Go on Medium and write about your learnings. If you're a visual person, take pictures, create a portfolio. When I started, I had an Instagram page called DigiTech, where I was documenting the things I was doing in tech, and I was also helping small brands consult. That was my way of practicing. So I had an Instagram page to document. I was also writing. I had a blog. I also write on Medium. I will write for publications, the things that I have learned. So I would say document your work in whatever way you can. You can go on Canva and find like a portfolio template on there, and you start to like document your work. But writing is my most recommended way of documenting your work. That's something I have done successfully in the past. Then when you document your work, at some point you would need to start applying for jobs. This is where the skills are a bit different. I always tell people the skills you need to apply for a job are different from the skills that you need to do the job. They're also different from the skills that you've learned in the past. They're all very different. So you need to start to learn how to apply for jobs, then you can apply for jobs. So the fact that you already want to do a career transition from the beginning means that you have a goal. So you need to look at this goal that you have and start to apply for jobs. So even if you want to work in a big corporation like Google, you might not be able to get into Google maybe because of your location or because of your experience, but apply for smaller companies, apply for startups, good places to start from. And then if you're brave enough to apply for bigger corporations or your dream companies, why not? Go ahead and apply. But then when you get feedback from recruiters, then you start to use this to improve your resume, improve your portfolio. Usually in your first applications, your resume might not even get to a recruiter. It might just be the recruitment software that is bouncing you back. This is why you need to learn how to apply for a job. When you learn how to apply for a job, you get your resume to the recruiter. Now the recruiter looks at it. Maybe you have a second conversation. They may say yes and move you on to the next level. They might say no, but when they say no, you can ask for feedback, and then that feedback you can apply it into building your resume and then building your portfolio so that you're better in applying for the jobs and doing the job. Actually, now because you're a beginner, I would advise that you apply for internships and like associate PM roles or product managers, as these are what's accessible to you. And then there's also this thing about, I know you want to kind of like be a product person, you want to go into the field, but I would advise not to jump into roles, I don't want to say scam your way. I would advise not to jump into the middle of the ocean right immediately, especially if you don't have previous job experience. Here's what I mean. Now, if you learn how to apply for a job, you might not even have the experience, but you can get a job, right? Or you can get a job as a not so junior level person. But here's what that is: you're going to struggle a lot because you haven't learned the basics of the experience of the job. So I would advise that you literally start from the bottom, right? So you can learn the ropes. That way, when you're thrown into the deep end, you won't struggle so much. So let me give you an example. Once I got a very good job offer and then I said yes to it, right? And I'd already like put my resume. I knew how to apply for a job really well. I knew how to interview. So even though I wasn't as experienced, I got into a role that's was a little bit above my experience level, and I said yes to the role. I didn't scam the company. Everybody knew the level I was at, but in there I struggled with a lot of imposter syndrome because I didn't know a lot of things, how to do things practically, and I really struggled on that job. So to avoid that, I would usually say, for me, it would have been better if I had started from, if I'd had like a 3 months internship before going to that role, or had a mentor that would guide me before going on the role and even on the role. This advice is subjective depending on where you are in life, right? So if you have some experience, you can always transfer experience and you can use it to do the job. But then sometimes as a beginner, don't be in a hurry to take the very big roles, because it's one thing to get the job and it's one thing to do the job well and excellently. You want to do a good job. That's why you're going into the role. Okay, so you need to apply for jobs, you need to learn how to apply for jobs, you need to interview, and then you need to start working. So there are strategies for your first 90 days at work, your first 3 months, your first 6 months, your first year, and then also growing in the role, right? Also career progression, career growth, all of that. So if you've gotten the job, congratulations. Now your journey is different. You're no longer transitioning, you've transitioned. Now you need to like build your foundation and then grow, which hopefully we'll have another video for that. But I hope this video was helpful to you, and I wish you the best in your career transition journey. All right, have a good rest of the day. Bye.